Hi you guys, and welcome to TNT Beauty. I feel like it's been forever since I filmed, because it has been. Today I will be showing you guys how to detangle extremely tangled, matted, neglected hair. So if you are a natural and you know anything about natural curls, and I mean it's probably not this way for everybody, but for me it certainly is, you don't have to really neglect your hair for a long time before it becomes a disaster. So I'll usually, I'll do my routine at night. I'll put in some braids and just unbraid in the morning. Well, I've gone 2 whole nights without doing that because I've been super, super busy and on the go. And as a result, my hair is very tangled. I love having natural hair. I love having long hair, but the one thing that just is exhausting is how easily the hair tangles. So my first tip to detangling curly hair, really nappy hair, or whatever you want to call it, is to not let it get tangled in the first place by protecting it at night, and that I've already not done. So there's that. But yeah, I'm going to get my curls back, and if you want to see how I do that, then just keep watching. So I'm going to be washing my hair today, but there's no way I'm going into it without first doing a little TLC. So I'm going to start by paying some attention to my scalp, which I know has nothing to do with the tangles, but it just makes sense to do this first. So I'm going in with some tea tree essential oil. Just, any tea tree oil is fine. Sometimes I get a little flaky in my scalp, so I like to use tea tree oil to help with that. It's antibacterial, antifungal, and something else. But yeah, just a little bit goes a long way. I even like to take my little situation here and massage my scalp, because if I'm not careful, I will get kind of flaky in my scalp, and I just don't prefer to do that. Yeah, like I cannot believe, like there was a time in life where I would not have been caught dead on camera looking like this, but that's what I really look like. Okay, so now for the important part. Why you clicked on this video. As you can see, I'm not the only one with tangled, matted hair. It's been a busy, busy weekend, you guys. Don't judge. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is section the hair. So if you're really prone to tangles, you probably don't want to like lighten your hair, because it just makes it worse, okay? So the times I've colored my hair and lightened it, there's a huge difference, and I noticed that the colored part, I mean, it just tangles so easily. I would actually go as far as to say that as long as I'm keeping my hair long, I don't think I'll ever lighten it again, ever, because it's just so much more work. Okay. So first things first, you always want to start with water, or at least I do. There's no way I could ever like dry brush my hair. Like it would just be a disaster. When I apply water, it allows product to absorb a lot easier, and it just, makes the hair more manageable. So water, it's free. Very important first step. So without applying any product other than water, I'm already able to just go through and do some finger detangling. See, look at that. That's the colored hair. So I'm being very gentle and trying to pull that apart. All right, so I do like to, see, look at that. I like to prep and finger detangle with my hands so that I can kind of get a sense of just how bad it's going to be. Also allows you to be a little more gentle than when you're using a brush. So one thing I do is I pull apart the strands. I mean, that's basically what a tangle is, where your hair is stuck together. So I try to pull those apart, and a lot of it will come apart pretty easily when you get to those fairy knots. Now, sometimes you have to cut those out. I really do try to avoid that as much as possible. So I'm just pulling apart. Okay, yeah, here we go. It's like a web almost. Okay, like if I were to go a week without like detangling, tie my hair up at night, all that, like I'll probably end up with dreadlocks. I'm not even exaggerating. Okay, so now that I've kind of prepped the hair, since I'm going to be washing, I'm not going to use any styling products or anything like that, but I am going to go in with a detangler. So this is the Kinky Curly Not Today, one of my two favorite detanglers. I did do a battle of the detanglers, and I'll have that video linked down below. It was this versus the Soul Tentacles, and I'll just say I love them both, but one I love just a little bit more than the other, if I had to choose a winner. Okay, so I'm just going to smooth this through. So when my hair is doing what it's supposed to be doing, I don't use detanglers every day. I save them for the worst days, like this. Okay, so I'm going to add some more water. And I like to add water because when I add water, I can add less product. You know, detanglers, like good detanglers, are not cheap, so I do like to make them last as long as possible, and that's one way I do it. It is definitely time for a keratin smoothing treatment. One reason that I am having trouble with tangles is because I haven't been doing those as often as I should. I think you're supposed to do it every 3 to 4 months, and I've been doing mine twice a year, so the results have not been as great as they could be, and it's just a matter of, you know, I have kind of been neglecting myself a little bit, and I'm trying to get back into making time for me. Of course, you like to start at the bottom, work your way up, being very gentle. I personally love just a paddle brush. I don't know what it is, but it just does it for me. I use the paddle brush for detangling and then the soft bristle brushes for smoothing, which I won't be using that at all today. Like that's when I'm getting ready to go somewhere and I need to smooth out those flyaways on top. Okay, so this is like my problem area. I don't know what it is, but in the back, like I get so mad at, let's see if I can like zoom in and see what's going on. So again, I'm starting at the bottom, pretty easy on the bottom. The closer I get to the top, okay. And I think too, a big thing is my top hair has never had the keratin smoothing treatment, so maybe that is part of why I'm a little more prone to tangles at the roots. So the roots and the color treated part. Hair is pretty easy going in the middle, but so like here and here, like a disaster. But it's honestly not as bad as I thought it might be. But then again, we are just on the first section, so. Okay, so since I'm washing today, I am going to be going in with this product. I received it in an influencer box and did a review on it, and I actually really love it. So this is the African Pride Moisture Miracle. Okay, this is a pre-shampoo treatment, and I really like it. I've never been one to do pre-poos or whatever, but this definitely makes a difference. Like, the consistency is like Jello that hasn't hardened yet. Oh gosh, it feels so nice and just slides through the hair like magic. I like it so much that I wish I could use it, you know, just as a styler instead of just having to rinse it out when I shampoo. But it just, this right here is awesome, and I highly recommend it. African Pride products are very affordable, and yeah, they did the thing with this. So, all right, section 1 is done. So I'm just gonna do this number right here and complete the next 3 sections. So one thing I need to mention is that it's like pretty standard for people to use 4 sections of hair, but I mean, definitely when you're dealing with a lot of tangles and, you know, it might be overwhelming, maybe if you're doing a kid's hair because their hair tangles easily because they're all over the place, or if you could just be like me and your hair tangles easily, like break down those sections into even smaller sections. So, you know, it's like, how do you eat an elephant? A bite at a time. So if your tangles are really bad, it's all about just separation. So sections into smaller sections into smaller sections. Sometimes that's not necessary, but for the worst of the worst tangles, yeah, you got to break it down. So I'm halfway finished. I'm going to take this section that's done and I'm going to twist it up. And my hairstylist always does this because if, you know, she knows you can't just leave my hair because those curls are petty. They will tangle up around each other and you'll have a whole mess and all that hard work will be for nothing. So I'm going to clip this and then start on the second half. Okay, so I just ran into a very tangled spot. I'm going to watch, or let you watch, what I do with those very rough spots. So again, I have a section, I have a quadrant. I'm going to make that an even smaller section. Okay, so you can just see how the hairs are just wanting to mat together. So the hair is damp. Gonna add even more. More water for me is more slip. All right, I'm just working that in. Now, one thing you don't want to do is try to go through this process if you're in a hurry or a time crunch, because you're just going to probably end up doing more damage than good. So make sure you have the time to pay attention to details and to work through the hair gently. So it's kind of like when, you know, if you have a necklace and you just throw it in your drawer or something, and then you go to pull it out and it's just a knot, or it's just like a tangled mess. Well, that's kind of how I think of this. Like if you just kind of yank it apart, you're going to do damage. You have to, it's like kind of like undoing a puzzle. Not a puzzle, but I don't even know what. So far, I have not had to cut out any fairy knots, knock on wood. Okay. Okay. Look, you see, I get to go through this whole process all over again. All right, and I will note, like, I'm only losing like a tiny bit of hair. Like, this is the first that I've had to, like, you know, just, yeah, like I'm not covered in hair because I'm being super gentle. And one thing too, if you are struggling with losing more hair than you feel like you should be, I have a video on MSM and how I use that supplement to help me manage hair loss. And it's great. But this is not great. Like, look at that. Look. Did you think I was exaggerating? This is why I don't recommend coloring your hair if you're trying to grow it out and have it be as long and healthy as possible. from start to finish, this has taken about 25 minutes, which it's a lot. That's a lot of time when you're busy, but you know, it's necessary. And I really don't think 25 minutes is that bad. Like, I do have a lot of hair. So, um, yeah, I have not had to cut out any fairy knots. I have not ended up with a bunch of hair shedding. So, I'm actually very pleased with this detangling session. So, now I'm going to go wash all this gooey goodness out. Um, my hair can, like, when I neglect it, I feel like I have to tell her I'm sorry and give her some extra love. So I do think I'm going to do a deep conditioner. I'm not going to go through the whole process because I have several wash and go videos, and it's never just a wash and go, but whatever. I will show you the finished product though when it's all said and done. So this is a few hours after I washed my hair. It's about 80% dry. It's so much, you know, softer, more detangled, defined, and I am loving it. And this picture right here is from the next morning after I did my very simple style and go. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next one.